I was going to say I was never educated to this extent, so I don't think you should call on me to. I can read it. I can't probably understand.
Well, then that's kind of interesting. Then you should do it actually. If you were never educated in Hungarian, but I think it would be. But that's kind of like many of our students. So I think.
Does anyone have a copy yet?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
No talking, or else you will fail.
Sneak away.
Page 1. Okay, write a comment on page 1, an adjective describing how you're feeling right now. You may turn to page 2. How's page 2 looking for you?
No one needs reading glasses.
How would you feel if I gave you an extra hour? Or 2. Another adjective. Please write another adjective on page 2. Write an adjective describing how you're feeling on page 2. You may now turn the page. Okay. Throw your little lifeline. Page 3.
Yeah, that doesn't work too well. Bilingual dictionary? I'd always make some happy glossaries. Yeah,
but it's even with the English. What is
Now, do you want a little extra time?
Yes. right and right.
1 more minute? No pressure. You may now turn the page. Oh, don't forget to write an adjective. I'm sorry, don't forget to write an adjective describing how you're feeling on page 3. Now you may turn to page 4. How are you feeling now? Did anyone already figure out the answer?
Yeah, we figured it out.
Did you check the work on the English one? Was it correct?
He had to translate.
I used your words here. It took a while.
Good. So what's the correct answer? B. Okay. Let's do a quick turn and talk. Do a quick turn and talk. What was your response when given this math test item in Hungarian? Did you try to answer it? Did you withdraw completely? What was your response?
I'm not meant to take it out of the years. Like every time I'm here, I don't know where to go. I Okay, if you hear me clap once, if you hear me clap 3 times, if you hear me clap once, if you hear me clap 3 times. Would anyone like to share how they personally responded to this, how they felt when trying to solve the problem that they were originally given in Hungarian? Which of the accommodations that you received, if any, were helpful? Let's start there. Would anyone like to share out their response?
Well, first of all, when I saw the page, I thought I needed my glasses, so I took them off. So, and the second page it was bigger, but then same thing. I was feeling, like it was like a torture, longer hours and the same thing. So on the third page, it was like, I see something that I understand, and then I started looking and translating. But even when I translated, it didn't come up with the right meaning, because when you do it word by word, it's not giving you exactly. So I was like, at the question, I needed to know what they were asking me to give the response. So when I translated, I said, how big? But exactly how big is what? So when I turned to the last page, it was like, music to my ears. I could, do it. But then I had to start thinking again, because I used so much time trying to translate, the meaning, that I lost the process, like getting the math part, now I have to use my knowledge in math to do what is being asked here.
Correct.
Because I was trying to use language, what is this, what is telling me, so my math was turned off.
So nationally, as we've moved towards more towards what are called performance-based assessments, you find word problems. Math test items are just now much more likely to be word problems where you have to really extract from the language the calculations that you need to do in order to complete it. What is all of this? Well, first of all, was this a test of math content or of language or of both?
It was a test of both, but as I was going through the different stages of frustration and then, oh really, and I thought about my ESL students during this past math assessment because they were provided like a reference sheet, but the reference sheet had nothing that they could use. And so page 3, you did provide a glossary, but I was stuck on the words that were in the problem that were not in the glossary. So I did not find the glossary helpful at all because I'm like, okay, so you tell me to look, but I don't know what, the third or fourth word means. So I can guess, I know it's about angles, but I still don't know what you want me to do.
It's interesting. I find mixed responses to the glossaries. That some people find that it gives them enough of a lifeline that they can figure it out, and then a lot of people, and it feels like it's almost an equal amount. A number of people just find that it's so unwieldy to kind of keep moving back and forth that they can't get their flow for that.
I saw, there was no problem solving that went on back here at all until we got to page 3 where the glossary kicked in. 2 of my colleagues here were more ambitious. By then I was more annoyed at the whole test that I really didn't even want to bother with the glossary.
Yeah, I saw Lewis over here wasn't doing anything.
But when I saw Kristen jump
Our
on
own
and
RA.
she started translating key pieces, then it was more about the mathematics. And then I leaned in. So an example in letting kids collaborate. Now we can't do that in the test setting, okay, but we can do that in a regular instructional setting.
And how would it be if they could do that through their own, their home language as well? I do want to point out that one of the issues that, what's your name? Evelisa pointed out that she was using, that she found the test translation obviously very, very helpful, but for all of us, the provision of a test translation is really only helpful if you've received instruction within that language to prepare for the test and have a high level of literacy within that language to begin with. Right?
I just wanted to also say a word on the use of bilingual glossaries, is that we have to think about the ages where we're asking kids and
Yes.
providing them with bilingual glossaries. So testing begins in 3rd grade, and kids 3rd through 5th grade may have very limited exposure to using that as a resource, and therefore it is not a resource because unless you have instruction on how to use it, then you really don't know how to use it.
Right, and I think that's exactly the point about those. Thank you for honing in on that, because I think that's why you see such a disparity in the responses to the glossaries. For many people, they need help, scaffolding, and support on how to use them and use them effectively. Right.
The ones that the Board of Ed gives us are not kid-friendly at all for glossaries. It's very overwhelming. The print is very small. It's so many.
Can everyone hear what she's saying? That the glossaries are not child-friendly that they receive from the Department of Education?
Yeah, so it makes it so. I think they're defeated before even trying to use it. Or, to find that one word in the problem that they don't know.
So maybe it makes you feel a little better,
Yeah.
like you've got something you can sort of hold on to, but it's not. Well, we do find in research that all of these accommodations are not truly enough to truly level the playing field. Unless you have students who are highly educated in their home language, with strong literacy levels in their home language, and who have received instruction within that language to then prepare them for the test that they received in that language. I want to move on, but I want you to think on your own